Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. It is the end of September, the beginning of October. Earnings season is coming around the corner, but not there yet. This week, although we do have a couple big names, a lot of the days kind of like quiet, just from like a scheduled news perspective. So still kind of waiting around for the calendar to really pick up. That being said, there are a couple interesting patterns, couple big names, so hopefully we get some good action. All right. Monday before the open, Weibo. So about 325 or so is what they're expecting here. We've traded a couple other China tech names recently, but Weibo has, I guess, kind of fallen off my radar. I haven't really focused on it too much. It's been relatively range bound. I guess maybe that's why I haven't focused on it a whole lot. But it did have a really big move on July earnings here, and it's been pretty range bound since. So I feel like there's a possibility of another big move this quarter. Also, options only priced in about like a third, give or take, of what it rallied in July. So could be worth maybe like a speculative shot, some sort of volatility strategy. Definitely not my highest conviction idea though. Um, Monday after the close, so United Natural Foods. About 375 is what's priced in, but those are monthly options, so you got a couple extra weeks of time value. Staple food play. It's had a pretty good year, but hasn't really done a whole lot in the last couple months. These types of names, they haven't had as much interest around earnings, right? Like the staples, just in general, haven't really been that in play around earnings this quarter. But if UNFI can get up through 21 area, right, kind of clears like some resistance and maybe it gets going again. But for me, it's probably gonna be kind of a watch and wait name. Just I feel like it could set up well for a swing trade, but it's got to have good numbers and it's got to get up through that resistance area before I really want to get involved. Before the open on Tuesday, so another staple, McCormick. So about 12 and a half points. Oops, there we go. About 12 and a half, 12 points, excuse me, is what's priced in on this. Monthly options, again, though. Um, even among staples, this has always been like a tougher one for me. It hasn't been as much volatility around earnings recently either. The last really, I'd say, decent sized move was back in this quarter last year, so the September quarter, October quarter in 2019. So it's really not a consistent mover, and I really like consistency when it comes to earnings, and I just don't see it here. So it's kind of tough for me to lay out the money. All right. After the close on Tuesday, so one of the big ones, or maybe the big one, depending on how you look at it. Micron. So 4 points is what's expected on this. Now, this stock has been super, super choppy for the past few months. Honestly, I mean, maybe even longer. If you go back to like April, even. We tried to trade on it when it was sitting above 50 after it had like good earnings, but then it just chopped around and then it broke down, and now it's back into that area again. So there just hasn't been any momentum whatsoever. Peer reports this quarter have not been great too, so this is kind of a strange setup. Um, there have been occasionally some big moves on this one, but they are kind of fewer and farther between. Um, at 4 points, I may just wait and see what they say, see what the stock does, then evaluate it from there. Just because I tried to trade on it a couple months ago, it didn't work. But at the same time, I mean, I do think there could be a lot of upside if the numbers are solid and it can get up through like 54 to 55s. And I definitely, I definitely want to have my eye on it, or I definitely want to be involved if it does get up there. This is again, it's kind of like a tough name because it's been so choppy, hasn't had any momentum at all. But it is a name that I do trade pretty frequently, and I've traded just recently, so I'll be looking at it. I haven't made up my mind though whether I'm gonna do a trade or not. Um, Wednesday before the open, nothing. Wednesday after the close, nothing. Thursday before the open, Bed Bath and Beyond. So 2.25 is what's priced in here. Kind of hard to reconcile how strong the chart is with expectations kind of for an ugly quarter. And it rallied quite a bit going into July earnings and then got absolutely crushed after disappointing. So it's rallied sharply again, maybe rinse and repeat, right? Option prices to me, they're not cheap at 225, but historically it's also been kind of a big mover, and it's also been consistent mover too. So if I can get risk down, maybe look at some sort of volatility strategy on that one. Constellation. So about 11 points is what's expected on here. This was finally starting to get some momentum, and then it just rolled right back down. So I do think this is one where I'd be bullish biased because the last couple quarters have been pretty good. And to me, it looks like if it's a good quarter, you could have a pretty quick path back to like 198, high 190s, 200 area. So definitely name that. I feel like I've leaned a little bit more bullish. Also, wouldn't surprise me maybe if it gets like a bounce ahead of time too. And then last but not least, Pepsi. So this is also Thursday before the open. About 4.25. Again, another staple. Ahead of a few of them next week. I haven't traded this one in a while. There are some staples I do focus on. This one's not normally one of them. You can see though it's at the low of several month range. There have been some quarters where it's moved. I don't think the pricing is like too crazy, but at the same time, like the chart just doesn't scream anything to me. You know, it's like kind of at the low of the range. I mean, if anything, I feel like if it's slightly weak and it breaks support, it could have a pretty big move to the downside. But I think maybe like that's like a lower conviction play. So this is not one I normally trade. I don't know if I'm gonna trade it this quarter, but you know, if it's something you have a lot of familiarity with, maybe you want to take a look. All right, but that's it because after the close on Thursday, nothing, and Friday, nothing scheduled. So still waiting for earnings season to get going. There are a couple big names, so hopefully we get some good action, and then just gonna be patient because it's gonna get busy real soon. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information on earnings trading or more information on options trading for earnings, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Hope you have a great night. Stay well, and I will talk to you all on Monday.